Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the township, the villages, you know, those government entities that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not, even if it directly affected you.
That could be disastrous if you don't show up. One of the things that we talk about, of course, is the humor that's embedded in practically all,
There's always humor,
just about every meeting.
and you managed to pry it out of every one of them.
And what I don't find, you scoop up and set aside so those folks out there know what's going on.
That's right, little snowballs.
Little snowballs. They're called bunnies, I think. Aren't they bunnies when you sweep
At this
them
time
up?
of the year, yeah.
Okay.
Dust bunnies.
Dust bunnies. Well, I tell you what. Let's talk about the Addison Township Parks and Recreation.
Oh,
That's
your
a fun
favorite.
one.
Your favorite.
Yeah, talking about bunnies, see? Good
Yeah.
segue, right? Right into bunnies. Anyway, this was a February 4th
February?
minutes. No, February 4th is the minutes that they read.
Oh, okay.
Give me a chance to speak here, will you please?
Just jumping in where I saw an opening.
Jumping right in where you saw an opening. So anyway, they read the minutes. And of course, they do read the minutes in that
That's true.
session. And that would be, I'm trying to think of his name, Chuck Pertran, I think it is, Chuck Pertran. Anyway, we keep trying to change his name.
Is it Bergeron?
No, Pertran,
Bergeron.
I think it is, okay. Rod Blazik is the chairperson, and he shares that, actually co-chairs with Chuck. And then Dave Kosick sits on that board, as does Larry Douglas. And now Larry wasn't there for this meeting. He had something else. He was, I think he was digging holes in his backyard to hide his money. I'm not sure.
Well, then.
That's the rumor will spread anyway.
Must be a lot of little bean pots out there with change in them.
Right. For a small fee, we'll give you a map on how to find Larry's bank in the back.
Could add a whole lot to a road rally.
It could do that, yeah. Right. Anyway, let's talk about, first of all, the bills. They had a whopping $17.76 in bills.
Outrageous.
Outrageous, terrible. And actually, Rod Blazik was the one that created those bills. Yeah, you spender, you. He actually purchased, I think, some bolts.
Strangely enough, it included a tip.
Yeah, it might have. No, he didn't have lunch with it. What he did is he purchased bolts.
Ah.
You know, large bolts to secure the lamp post that they're going to put. You know, at the, you know, where that school's at.
Where that thing is.
Where that thing is. Where the posts are waiting to be installed, right? That location, that's what we're talking about. And it was only $78.76. Not bad. Okay. Now, these guys, they do a lot of work anyway that they don't bill out or charge, or they dig into their own pockets a lot of times, which leads to arguments with their wives. But anyway, they do assist the township.
Like, how are we going to eat?
How are we going to eat? Yeah. Well, I hear that if you go over to Larry Douglas's backyard and dig up, you might find some.
Oh, well, then. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, they said, first of all, let's talk about old business. And since they're talking about light poles, they said, Rod said, well, they need to be installed. He does have the brackets for it. And he does want to have the lights installed by July. That would be good.
Yeah.
We have longer days now, so we probably won't need them right away. So, and I think there's a
Gives
curfew.
the DPW, you know, a better chance to do a good job.
Right. I think there's a curfew too, and I think people have to be out of there by 8 o'clock, roughly. We'll start a rumor. 8 o'clock it is.
Is that adults?
I think adults. Could be 9 o'clock.
I thought it was curfews were for kids.
No. Well, if you have a police chief with you, you can stay around the clock. But
Oh, well.
that's the only way that you get to stay around the clock. You could go down to Perch Pond and fish perch. By the way, which they're going to stock additional perch
Oh, are they?
in there. Sure.
Don't they reproduce?
They do reproduce. But there's
apparently not enough.
a lot of people are catching them, though.
Oh.
You know, so they got to replenish. And we'll get a little more into that in
Much
terms
like
of
accountants
stocking
have
lakes.
cash flow, they have fish flow.
They have fish flow. The little fins, they're swimming up. Anyway, and you do know that they did solve the spotting problem with Perch Lake. That's a good thing.
Oh, spotting a perch is pretty easy.
No
I
spotted
thought.
perch. They had little spots on them.
And
Little
once again,
leopards.
it wasn't ick.
It wasn't ick.
Okay.
No. So anyway, they said when they do these light poles, they're going to run underground wiring, you know, for the electrical. And also, while they're at it, they're going to put security cameras in, so they'll run the proper wiring for that as well. So
Oh, wow.
anyway, two birds with one shot. Out there, you don't want to shoot without a permit. So just know that. Anyway, the Watershed Preserve Park, which is the Arnold School, by the way, they were talking, remember we were talking about water, getting water to them a while back?
Right.
And they were talking about a pitch pump. Well, they can't
They
put,
both said.
yeah. And but the thing is, they can't put pitch pump in there because the health department, they're so rigid in terms of regulations that they said, hey, they got us jumping through all kinds of hoops, you know, to do this.
They threw them a curb on their pitch pump.
Yeah, they got a curve and it went way over there because they're going to install one well, I think at the Arnold School. They're going to have one sink and a water source that they can provide, you know,
So rather-
sprinklers, you know.
So rather than
hose.
Armstrong, it's going to be electrical.
It'll be electrical, more than likely. I wonder if they could do that using sun power. You're the science guy. You think they could do that?
Yeah, they could, but they can't afford that
Oh,
one.
I see, okay. Well, if they hired you probably to come in and tell them how to engineer it, you could probably do it.
Yeah, that would take a lot of solar panels.
Well, anybody that could build an explosive rocket when he was only 10, I mean, should be able to work
They
this up.
will.
Okay, anyway, so they won't be using your guidance for the lighting, or for the
Absolutely not.
power for the pump. So, anyway, they said also the shed, remember the shed that they're gonna put in?
Yeah,
They were talking initially
with the
moving
garage
it.
doors and stuff.
Right,
Okay.
garage door, and one garage door for this.
Oh,
Yeah, but I guess Bruce Pearson, supervisor of the township, he said, look, he said, you guys are looking at like a 24 by 24. You should go with a bigger unit. If you're going to do this, you should probably go with a 24 by 30. So
are
anyway,
we talking the shed or the garage door?
no, this is for the shed. Actually, the garage door is going to be 8 feet wide, I think 7 feet tall.
Okay.
It's going to be an overhead type door with, of course, a secure lock system on it. But anyway, so they said, Rod says, oh, well, I already got some bids on the smaller unit. He says, I'll have to go back out for more bids. They said, okay, we'll do that, and maybe at the next meeting, you know, you can present those, and we'll see how much it costs. There's 3 different lumber companies that they're looking at. So anyway, so that was the direction they proposed to go. They
The new one, the bigger one will fit on the pad that they're anticipating.
well, they haven't put the pad in yet, so
Okay.
they can pretty much make it any size they want at this point.
But there's no limitations on easements and stuff like that?
No,
Or
not really. They
setbacks.
have the space.
And all kinds of words that I've learned from the planning commission.
Right, right. No contiguous space is what you're talking about. That
Oh,
one.
that one.
That one. Okay. So anyway, they said also the grading needs to be done at what's that park? The other park. With that blank look, we'll be back right after this, folks.
Watch one of the longest running programs on OCTV, Our Community Access, every day at 9:30 and 5:30. Hosted and produced by Bill Service. Our Community Access, keeping it local.
All today on Our Community Access.
OCTV is our community.
Hi, my name's Karen from Canine Stray Rescue. We're located at 2120 Metamora Road, just north of town in Oxford. We're an animal rescue here. We take in dogs. We have about 50 dogs here right now that are available for adoption. Before the dogs are adopted out, they are spayed or neutered. They're up to date on the rabies and distemper shots, and we also heartworm test them to make sure that they are not heartworm positive. We have families come through here. We're open every day, but Tuesday and Wednesday. We also have a website that lists our hours, tells you everything about our events. We go to Petco at Great Lakes Crossing on the first and third Saturdays of every month. And we also go to Pet Stuff Harvest Time on the second and fourth Saturdays of each month. If you'd like to visit us there, we take about 8 to 10 dogs, but the rest of the dogs are always at the kennel for you to come and visit. We always need volunteers. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. If you would ever like to come and volunteer with us, we have volunteer meetings. We tell you a little bit about us, and then you can come and volunteer with us. We would love to have you come and adopt one of our dogs. They're all listed online, or you can come and visit them. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. We're talking about what?
Parks. Talking about
Parks.
parks.
Yeah.
Lake George Park.
Addison Township Parks.
Oh, wait a minute, you just said it was Lake George Park.
Right. But all the parks in Addison Township, and there's a lot of them over there. But
Oh.
we're just discussing the park, and it was Lake George where it's at. And there was an old building there, of course, which left an old hole, which they need to fill. And so
Was there a basement?
there was a basement.
That makes a hole.
Yeah, it's a whole story. Anyway, so a couple issues with Lake George, and they need to bring in topsoil. And they also, Rod Blasek has built a sign, an entrance sign, that's a 4x8 that he wants to position near where else but by the entrance. and anyway, he thought, well,
On the opposite side, does it say exit? No.
no, probably not. It says, are you lost? If you are, you're here, at point A. But anyway, there's two 4x4 poles that support this thing, and he thought a good idea would be about where this hole is at that they need to fill, to put the post in and then fill it. That way you don't have to dig the hole for the post. Good idea. Anyway, Lake George has a open well there. Remember we talked about that before?
Oh, it's got to be filled?
Well, no, it just needs to be protected at this point, and they'll figure out what to do with it later.
Are we talking open as in drop a bucket in and pull it up?
You could. If you drop a rock or a stone, you'll hear it poof about 3 minutes later.
Oh.
So it's a pretty deep hole that this thing is.
Could be
But
dangerous.
there's a pipe that comes out of it, though, that they used for the pumping system originally for
I
the
see.
well.
Certainly not a pitch pump.
Not a pitch pump. Might have been a pitch pump. I don't know, but I don't think so.
Okay.
But anyway, it could have been. But anyway, it comes out of this open well. And Charlie said, well, I can cap this off. And he said, I talked to the building inspector to see how this is to be done and the plumbing people. And he said, I've got it figured out where I can make a piece that'll go over top. He says, and then drill a couple holes and screw it in place. And then I'll get a plastic cap and put over that and seal it, double seal. He said, I'll keep it from getting contaminants so that when we get to use it. That Charlie's a pretty smart guy. He comes up with all kinds of ideas.
He must have done this kind of thing before.
I don't know, but he's got a good imagination. I know he worked this one out. They said at Slating Lake. Do you know where Slating Lake is?
Haven't got a clue.
Me
Do
neither.
you?
I don't. But it's one of those lakes in one of the parks out there. Does that make sense to
We
you?
live in a land of lakes.
A land of
Could
lakes.
be any one of thousands.
Yeah. Lots of lakes. But anyway, they have a bad dock that needs to be repaired, and they need 2-inch tubing in order to do this.
Is that also a park?
It is a park
Okay.
around it,
Slating
surrounding
Lake
park. It's not a slate lake, but park, but it is a park. I think it's might be Watershed West, maybe. Could be. Anyway,
One of these
We'll
days,
say it
folks,
was, you'll
one
never
of
know.
these days, folks, we're actually going to have a map.
yeah. Take a note. A map would work. So, anyway, they're going to probably get this from Tom's Hardware.
Better get it quick.
We'll talk about that when we come back too later. But anyway, Tom's Hardware, because you can really get some good buys there at this point, I
And
understand.
before they say goodbye.
Yeah, right. New business. Quarterly newsletter, they said, would be something that they're going to start for the park rangers, so the park rangers understand what's going on internally. They're going to identify points of interest on the trail. Remember, we talked about that. There's a skunk, there's a porcupine. Anyway, they're going to do that. And the suggestion came from Rod Blasek that why don't we use Cedar? Get a hold of Cedar and I can transcribe, information on the various Cedar signs and post them, because that would be more inclined to go with the,
Yeah, Cedar weathers very well.
yeah. And it's out in the woods, which is a good place for, rather than have a blinking sign with LEDs on it. It'd drive those bears crazy, wouldn't it? They wouldn't know when to stop or go.
Pretty soon there'll be golden arches out there in the middle of the forest.
Could be. Anyway, they said that their committee meetings is going to be July 4th, has been changed to the 11th, July 11th. And then,
Okay.
and Charlie brought that up. He said, look, he said, on July 4th, I don't know what you guys are doing, but he said, I'll probably be watching fireworks. So anyway, so they said, well, it'd be a good
Watching out
idea.
for fireworks.
And they did miss that, on their scheduling, so they did change that. So you folks, the meeting in July is going to be July 11th. And of course, it'll continue at 7:30. They didn't change their time, like the Planning Commission and the trustees.
Ah.
They changed their time, I believe, to, what was it, 7 or 6? One of those times. Check it out. Check with the township. Ranger Bedazlek, I believe is his name. He says that we need more fish. Need it in Perch Pond, and we need it in that other lake, Slating Lake,
Where do you get your fish from?
from the supermarket. Where do you
I
get
don't think
yours?
it swims that well.
Not very well, but you don't have to chase it either. It's right there.
Oh, that's true.
So Slating Lake, and they said, well, what kind of fish do you want to put in there? He said, I think we should put some pike in there. And I'm thinking, pike? They
No
eat
wonder
perch.
no wonder there's no perch.
So anyway, so they're kind of considering what kind of fish to put in there.
Putting a whole food chain in there.
But they agreed that they would need to restock. So they're going to do that.
How big
If it's
is
going to
this
be
lake?
pike, I don't know.
How many acres is this lake?
Slating Lake? I'm not sure how many acres.
I mean, is it a big lake?
It's a small lake.
Okay.
I think it's like, what, 30 acres or 40 acres, something like that.
Okay.
Not very big.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that pretty much took care of that meeting that went over there in Addison Township area. Now let's talk about some things that are going on within this area. I just learned the other day that in Oxford Township that there's going to be a Tractor Supply Company come into this area. Have you heard that?
I heard that years ago, but
Yeah.
then they left.
Oh, but it's for real now.
Where are they going?
They're going to go on 3.87 acres on M24, just north of the village, and
Up by Smoking Oaks?
it's
Or
right next to
Burning Oaks.
right next to Burning Oaks. We'll call it Smoking Oaks.
No, it's Burning Oaks.
It's right next to that restaurant combination bar. It's going to be a 21,000 square foot building, 21,000, actually 900 square feet, and it's going to have. Oh, just so you
Is
know,
the Planning Commission going to have a heart attack over outside displays again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the preliminary has already been brought forward.
right. Okay.
So a lot of the issues have already been resolved, I understand, up front. They are looking to have this thing up and running by early part of 2017,
All
from
right.
my understanding. So there's a lot of things. Of course, that barring, what the township trustees decide and the planning commission
That's true.
decide.
That's true. But
Those can kind of drag on for a while.
yeah, because I remember the last time that Tractor Supply came in, and one of the sticking points was the actual outside display of equipment.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a concern or not, but let's talk about it some more when we come back right after this.
Okay.
Welcome to your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charities, special fundraisers, and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. Compost pickup for those residents living in the village of Oxford began Thursday, April 7th. Residents should bag small twigs, plant materials, and clippings in large outdoor paper refuse bags. You can purchase these bags at your local hardware or supermarket. Larger tree branches and shrub refuse can be tied into bundles with strings or tape, making them easy to handle. If you have any questions, contact the Oxford Village office at 248-628-2543. Do you feel a need to serve your community as an elected local official? You could be on the August primary ballot for any of the positions coming up on the November election. To qualify in the local August primary, you must obtain a petition form at one of the following locations. For Oxford Township, pick up qualifying forms at the hall on Dunlop Road for the township election. You will need 25 Oxford resident signatures. They have to be turned in no later than April 19th. Township positions you may be interested in are township supervisor, treasurer, clerk, and trustee positions. For the Village of Oxford, pick up your petition forms at 22 Burdick Street, Oxford. The village requires that you must have 20 resident signatures there on the petition. You may be interested in all 5 village council seats because they're up for grabs. For Addison Township, Rochester Road, you will require 10 resident signatures on your petition. Position up for election are township supervisor, treasurer, clerk, and trustee positions. Now, the Oxford Township Parks and Recreation is looking for volunteers to help with this year's Seymour Lake celebration. The celebration is slated for July 8th, 9th, and 10th, but there's lots of pre-work to be done. It takes community's effort and preparation to make the celebration a success. Quite simply, they need your talent, and please bring that talent, to this particular celebration. If you would like to donate your time and talent to this great community event, just call 248-628-1720. April 28th, Thursday, 4 to 7 p.m., you're invited to an open house at the new Addison Township Hall, 1440 Rochester Road in Lakeville, Michigan. Oakland County Executive Director L. Brooks Patterson will be present for the ribbon cutting ceremony at 4:30 p.m. Take a tour of the new facility and enjoy complimentary refreshments and food. Meet and greet your local government participants and enjoy great conversation with neighbors and local folk. Don't miss it, Thursday, April 28th, 4 to 7 p.m. The Oxford Public Library has all kinds of activities and events going on each and every month. Events for adults and events for children. You may also understand that these programs are free. To check it out, just go to their website at MIOPLORG and click on Calendar of Events. There you will find a listing of all the fun and educational programs for the month. The Oxford Pregnancy Center, located in downtown Oxford, provides compassionate services for women facing unplanned pregnancies living in Oxford, Orion, and the surrounding areas. Remember, regardless of age, race, or income, the services are free and confidential. Say, did you know that you can adopt a park? And by so doing, you can help keep your park safe and clean and beautiful. Your help will support the environment, your community, and quality of life. For more information, visit the Parks and Recreation website at oxparkrec.org. Oxford Orion Fish, a nonprofit organization staffed with 100% volunteers, would like your help. If you are a compassionate person who would like to share a few days or a few hours a week helping others, the organization would appreciate your help. Of the many tasks available they could use your skills in would involve answering phones, scheduling clients for food, providing client reviews, and filing documents, or providing a number of other useful services. Get that good feeling from helping others. Call 248-628-3933. If you own a local business, if you are a local resident, or if you represent an organization wishing to show your support for our local Oxford school sports, music concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast by our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter of OCTV. A promotional television spot would be created just for you and recognition given to you by our sports announcers during the special event. It's easy and it's inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658, or you could send a message of interest to Bill's email address, manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity, so if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, call us at 248-628-9658, or again, go to our website at occtv.org. Just one final reminder, you can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There, you will find a list of OCTV programs, dates, and times. One program I highly recommend is Bill's Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. Just check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events. Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. Did you know that Charter Channel 191 and AT&T Channel 99 are the only television stations you can find all the events and news just for you?
Oxford News This Week is your news closer to home. Catch us right here weekdays at noon, 6:30, and 11 p.m., and weekends at noon and 11 p.m. See you there.
Ta-da!
We're done.
Watch one of the longest running programs on OCTV, Our Community Access, every day at 9:30 and 5:30. Hosted and produced by Bill Service. Our Community Access, keeping it local.
All today on our Community Access.
Miss what's going on in your local government meetings. Watch Elgin Nichols and Dave Kenny on Minutes by Minute. Airs Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 11:30 p.m., where they add a touch of humor to local politics.